a detour on your journey to investigate the situation in Frostdale. A detour into a deep into a dark, cold forest. You were generally heading in a northerly direction, and so it's cold. This detour is to hunt a keeper named Kuroko, Keeper of the Azure Flame. And I'll type that in both in the Hangout chat. And we find you guys having trekked through this dark wood to a cabin in the heart of this dark wood. And it's a small cabin, probably no more than 2 rooms. It's in the middle of a clearing. There's a tree line all around you. And you are approaching. You're within about, I would say, 20 or 30 paces of the front door. During the trek through the woods, you're aware of wolves, possibly dire wolves, stalking on the periphery, right, watching you from a distance. And even now, as you approach this cabin, where you will presumably find Kuroko, Keeper of the Azure Flame, the wolves are like around you. You know they're there. You can sense them. You can hear them. I'm going to go around the table and find out what everyone's sort of initial disposition here is. Like, where are you at? What might you be doing? We're not going to trigger moves yet, but I just want to get a read on how you might be approaching this situation, because you don't know anything else, maybe, unless you do spout lore or something. But otherwise, you don't really know much about Kuroko, only that you have a tip and you're following up on it. You think she's here, and once you find her, you're going to kill her. So, keeping with our mandate here, I'm going to start with Logan. Logan, what would you be doing as we approach?
I think that I have just started to kind of whip the winds into a frenzy, to kind of have like a base level for casting spells when it comes to that.
Okay. Oh, so that's like the medium you work in, right? Like the winds?
Yeah.
I like that. It's nice. And so we see your cloak's just kind of like swirling or whatever, like around you. What color are they?
So it's constantly shifting. Like, I've got so much fabric here that like it's just a matter of shifting it to the right colors, and like that helps me keep track of where I'm at with my spell casting. It's just kind of like a nice visual of like, all right, I know if I can shift from all my robes from red to green that's visible on the outside, then it's ready.
Nice. Weary, what would you be doing? Just so you have a sense of the environment. It's probably just like midday, but we're in kind of a cold, like dreary north, and so it's always a little overcast. And then on top of that, the tree cover blocks out a lot of the sun, so it's darker than it's actually a little darker than it like probably would be. Not so dark that you can't see though, but it's just dark. So what is as you guys approach, what would you be doing?
I like having the visual of maybe as I like walk below the tree coverage, I sort of like disappear into the shadows and then reemerge each time. And then as we get close to the cabin, I sort of just disappear completely into the shade and like try to take a look inside or something.
Oh, okay, nice. Or maybe set yourself up for a sneaky attack.
Exactly.
What about you, Archon?
I'm sitting in a corner and try to be as invisible as possible, because not only the world, but also my companions around here are potential study objects. And so I'm trying to observe them and see how they react to the current situation. And I'm especially interested in who's showing the most fear of what is to come.
Interesting. What about you? It's going to take me a minute to get names. It always takes me a second. Kravis.
Oh God. So yeah, getting the shield set, getting the sword over the shoulder, looking around, seeing them all being stealthy and hidey and stuff, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
Well, except for Stormbreaker, who's like swirling around with the wind.
When it's a Caper of Azure Flame, so we can't burn the cabin now, which would be my first go-to move. So I'm probably starting to stomp up to the cabin.
Okay, nice. Krampus, that sounds like a nice direct sort of thing to do. Let's say you get within like a few paces of the front door of the cabin. What do you do?
I'm gonna take a look, and I'm gonna assume that Weary or somebody else has had the foresight to go around the back to make sure she doesn't climb out a window. And then I guess I'm gonna push on the door with the shield.
Would you be? It sounds like you said you were taking a look. Would you? Are we assuming you would have like scoped out the situation a little bit?
Yeah, let's not walk in too hasty.
Well, I think now that I think what kind of makes sense is if maybe you do a discern realities with help from Weary if you need it. So,
hey, that sounds like a good plan. Let me look at the little thing. I roll wisdom.
Yes.
And that is not a strong suit, or is it? That would be a +1. All right, so flash roll. So, wow, that's boxcars. So 13.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. And since we said Weary was kind of helping out with that, maybe you do 2 questions and Weary does 1. Does that sound good?
That sounds good. So what happened here recently? I guess it's gonna let's start with that. Judging the situation.
As you're kind of like looking around, you can see like kind of like in the snow, you can see like leftover bits of like scrap meat and bone like near the cabin. It looks like she feeds these wolves.
Okay. Weary, do you want to take the second?
Sure. I'm thinking fictionally it would make sense to do what here is not what appears to be if I'm scoping out all around it and stuff.
As you're kind of like walking around, your boot like taps. You notice it at first. It feels like you step on a place that feels a bit hollow. If that makes sense. Like it should be hard packed cold earth, but it's not. Like it's like a more of a thud than a thwump. If that makes sense. And it sounds like there's something underneath the cabin. Maybe some kind of crawl space. Maybe some kind of basement.
And what should we be on the lookout for?
You should be on the lookout for if Kuroko gets a chance, she will call these wolves into action. Okay. And so you should probably look for an opportunity to basically like bum rush her before she gets a chance to do that. Okay. Does that make sense? And so with all that in mind, what do you do?
I'll do the kind of hay signal, and I think I'm gonna try to get this door open.
I can help you get that. I can get that door open.
Oh well, if he says that, I'll step out of the way.
Are we doing it dramatically?
I'm all about it being easier for me.
Yeah, I think I've got my spells whipped up to a frenzy.
Indeed. So what are you gonna do?
I am going to weave a spell.
Get well out of the way.
Well advised.
So I've got all of these winds very like localized on me, and it's like, you know, hurricane levels like of just very, very localized wind. So I guess I'll roll plus in and see how it goes.
What are you going to? What's the effect? What are you going for?
What's the effect? The effect is all of a sudden it's going to be very, very still where I am, and very, very high out push of winds from inside the cabin and just kind of blow the doors off this place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Roll in for me.
12.
12. Nice.
I still have to choose one.
Indeed. What do you choose?
The spell won't last long.
Okay. So I think maybe that's just enough to get the door busted down and get the element of surprise here. Just give me the fiction. What does it look like?
Right. So I think that like the cabin, it's like a concussion grenade went off inside of the cabin with all of this wind exploding, and I think the windows go out, back door, front door, any door goes open, and we can go through whatever opening you would like.
Indeed.
And it's probably anyone in there is pretty rattled.
Probably. Maybe. If someone's in there. We actually don't know that.
It's true.
The door's open. Do you rush in, Kravis?
Yeah, and I go low like only I can.
Very good. Very good. I'm going to cut there. You run in. You sense her first, Archon, and you see her first, Weary. A woman walking just inside the tree line through the forest. I have a picture. I'll throw the picture up on our little board. Does everybody see the board? Does anybody need a link to that again?
I see it. It's just 2 pictures right now, right?
Yeah.
Me and Archon.
Yeah, I haven't put up the other picture yet. If I can find it, where's it at? Oh, here she is. You see her walking through the forest. She's painted her skin white with little red details, and she wears like kind of a literal skull cap on her head. And she's wrapped in fur and feathers. And she's walking just inside the tree line. Her hand is open, and she has this little blue flame in it. And it's unclear if she's aware of you yet or not. She seems really, really focused on that little blue flame in her hand. Weary, you're probably closest because you're out back. I think she's towards the back. What do you do?
I'm going to try to use the shadows to get into a position where I can surprise her.
Okay, nice. Give me a dexterity check to fight interdex.
Let's see. In the Hangouts chat, do I just do /roll 2d6?
/roll 2d6, yeah. Or you can roll dice if you have dice. So.
Oh, I did not do good.
What'd you get?
It would be a 6.
Okay. That sounds good. Hold that thought.
Unless I get the +1 for it from asking a question.
What was your question? Or what did you ask?
What here is not what it appears to be, I think.
Oh, yeah, not the basement thing, no. I'm going to cut over to Archon for a minute. Archon, they're a little ways away, but you just your sort of like natural psychism, you've sensed power in that direction behind the cabin in the tree line. You don't know what it is, but you sense like power. Like it's just what does it feel like to sense power? How do you feel it? How do you experience it?
Power itself does not have a color. Power itself can go in any direction of all the colors of the rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't establish it in anything of a kind of a feeling which is hitting me in any sense. But I need to know what kind of power is behind her. However, so before this move in the Silent Book, reflecting on the interconnectedness of things, and I think the moment there in these mountains is perfect to focus on that. And with one of my focus points, honestly, I would first go and see what is about to happen. And I would be very happy in terms of how I see the world that you tell me which creature is in our back and is coming together with the keeper.
Mm.
There can be the keeper of fear, there can be the keeper of decay, there can be the keeper of nature. There are many creatures out there, and they always have a color.
Mm. I may not follow. So, like, when you say, like, you want to know, she's the keeper of the Azure Flame. The Azure Flame is the key, right?
Yes.
And she has trained, it seems like, these wolves, right, which are kind of like in the tree line. So maybe unpack a little bit for me, just a little bit more what you're talking about here. Like, you want to know the connection between, like, something bigger even than, like, her. Is that what you're going for here?
Yes.
Something not necessarily related to their conspiracy.
Yes.
The Azure Flame is intimately connected with the emotion of hatred. That's important. You can interpret that however you wish. But if you're spending your focus to find out to ask the question, what's about to happen, is that what you're doing?
Exactly. Yes.
You're going to see that she's not going to invoke the Azure Flame's, like, sort of hatred aspect at all. She's going to invoke its flame aspect to consume Weary with fire. So she's going real straight down the line with the flame here. It's unclear if she even understands its true nature, right? So who knows? Back into the cabin for a moment. And I'm still going to push from your 6. Don't worry about it, Weary. I'm not done. Back in the cabin, you burst in, you rush in, Gravis and you see it's real simple. It would be a 2-room cabin, but there's actually no dividing wall. It's just one big room. There's a bearskin rug on the floor. There's a little bed. There's a little table, a hearth with a cooking pot. And at the foot of the bed, there's like an iron like foot locker, like where she would keep her valuables. Right. You don't see her at all. What do you do?
Got to kick that bearskin rug aside because sometimes children and heretics hide down in bolt holes. So you got to.
It's true, and you are a hunter extraordinaire. As soon as you kick that bearskin rug aside, you see there's a trapdoor. There's a trapdoor that goes down into something.
That'll be me trying to pry that open now.
Nice. Simple enough. I don't even need a roll. You can just crack it open. While that's going on, Logan, I just want to know what you're doing. You're not aware of her being in the forest at all. You don't know what's going on at all. You're just still recovering from your spell. But what would you do after you've done that? Your little spell bit, and Kravis is running.
I would be, like, getting ready with another spell for these wolves, like something. Yeah, some way of dealing with them.
Okay, good. And I think you can probably, like, feel them, right? Like, you guys have been aware for, like, some time as you're walking through the forest. The wolves have been watching you and kind of stalking from the sidelines, right?
Right.
Okay, so you're kind of readying that. I'm into that. I'm going to cut over to Weary. Weary, you are sneaking into place. You see her. She's walking so casually, like just staring at this flame as if having a very, very quietly whispered conversation with it, right? But you don't hear anything. It's just something that your imagination has made you think is happening. But you're trying to hide, and she turns at a certain point, still doesn't seem to, like, be aware of you. And she's got the blue flame in her hand. And on her right hand, she kind of, like, moves her right hand, like, over the flame, right? Which is being held in her left hand. And there's a little glimmer on her finger. She has, like, a ring of some sort. And you can see it glimmering in that blue firelight, right? And she kind of makes a little motion with her hand. And that blue flame leaps from her hand to the precise spot where you are and just explodes and engulfs you in, like, a swirl of blue fire. Take a d10 plus 2, please.
Ooh.
No armor.
Burns us. What be? 7 plus 2, you said? Was it?
Mhm.
9 damage.
As if you sensed it was about to happen, Archon, you hear Weary cry out in pain. You see lighting up the tree line like this, like just like big, like this column of blue fire. You were most aware of this about to happen, or something was about to happen. What do you do?
I'm impressed. And I would love to share the pain with my companion, Weary, but I'm too far away. I need to close the distance between the Keeper and me and stand by my fellow Weary to share the pain
Indeed.
to bring it back to her. So I'm running into that direction and want to stand beside my companion.
Good. I will. We'll have you running up. That's good. What about you, Logan? Logan, you heard the scream. You saw the flame.
As soon as I see the flame, I start to try and direct my magical energy into a counter spell.
Okay, nice. Good. Yeah, I like that. You could be doing that. What does it look like?
So like I think that I'm on the other side of this cabin and I see the flames leap up on the far side, and instead of like winds that I had been whipping around, like this cloud formation like swirls up over top my head and then like starts to like rapidly move over that way
Nice.
to the other side of the cabin.
I love it. That's perfect.
And this counter spell has the potential to cause no damage to be dealt. I don't know if we can do that backwards, but maybe it's just like if she tries to use the flame again. I don't know.
I think if she tries to use it again, I think it's where it'll be. I was taking advantage of my 6 to light him up. So you hear the scream as well, Kravis. You hear it. It's obviously a little more muted because you're in the house, but you hear it. What do you do? How do you react?
Oh shit!
And you've just cracked open the trapdoor. And let's say you fling the door open and you see down in the darkness a blue glow.
God, that's magic shit. I'll shut the door and I'll go towards the screams, the dying and the damned.
All right, so you're running out there. Here's what we've got. Archon, you're running up towards her. The wolves are like, here's where actually, let me cut to Logan. Logan, I think here's where the counterspell's coming in. The forest, the trees are lit up suddenly with like blue eyes. Okay. Like all the wolves are they're possessed basically, right? Like this blue like light appears in their eyes. That might be the thing you counter if we can kind of retcon that a little bit. So what do you do?
Okay, cool.
You want to roll it for that?
Yeah. See how that works out. Okay, I got a 10.
Nice.
So on a 10 plus, choose 2. The spell's effects are superficial and temporary.
Okay, nice. I think that we'll just interpret that to mean that like you break the hold on the wolves. Like, how do you do that? It's either her hold or the Azure Flames hold. It's a little unclear, but
yeah. So I think that it just starts like a downpour just starts, and the flame responds naturally to all of that water. And while it doesn't like extinguish it, it does extinguish all of the eyes that were out there.
Nice.
At least, if not now, soon. And then the second choice, I will use black magic against the caster immediately.
Oh, okay, nice. What does that look like?
So
like a bolt or something.
yeah, like black magic. So I'm weaving now. I'm like directing into another spell, and choosing 2 tags. It's going to be debilitating, and it's going to be elemental. So it's going to be a lightning strike.
Yeah, describe it. What does it look like? And it'll be hitting Kuroko. So
okay, yeah. So the clouds are just like billowing. They all rushed over there and they started swirling overhead and just dumping water. And then you can start to see like electrical buildup in the clouds, and I'll roll to see how effective that is. Sweet, yeah, 13. So it deals 1d8 damage, and the 2 tags happen, and I don't have to pick anything.
Nice. How much damage did you do?
So it's a d8. Let me find one and roll it. It does 3 damage and is does 2 damage, sorry, and is elemental, lightning, and debilitating.
Okay, so that's not the killing blow, but it is debilitator. Archon, you're running through suddenly it starts raining. You're suddenly like stepping through sloshing mud and splashing. Boy, that rain feels good, Weary. Weary, you're like slammed up against a tree. Like, the rain is putting out the flames of your clothes, which is great. Archon, you're rushing up. This crack of lightning like powers through the trees, and just it kind of glances her on the shoulder, and she kind of like falls forward. And as she falls forward, like the little blue flame she had in her hand, like just slaps into the wet like grass and just is extinguished. Okay. You rush up, and she's kind of getting up, and she's pushing up like she's kind of pushing up from the ground. Her black hair is kind of like stringy and wet and matted to the side of her face. And you're there. She's vulnerable. What do you do?
So she painted her skin white, right?
Yeah, and
So
that's all running. Yeah.
some of that must be gone. So what is her real skin color then?
Just like kind of like peachish flesh color, I guess. Yeah.
First of all, I'm next to Weary now, and he's still recovering from his pain. So I use my second focus to get a glimpse of what he must have experienced a second ago by touching him. Then I get telepathic contact to you, Weary, for 1 hour.
Interesting.
Maybe you reveal something that moment of shock to me later, but we can do that after we finish the game. The other thing is, I want to get her full attention, and to get that, I would try to look deep into her heart's sorrow, which is another move of mine. When I look into someone's heart in search of a secret, the moment she seems vulnerable for the first time.
Yeah, I like it, and I'm gonna play with that a little bit while you're like looking into her eyes. She's there, vulnerable, trying to figure out her heart's secret. Kravis, you're coming up behind, and you have one mission, which is to kill these folks, and she's there in the mud and vulnerable. What do you do?
Oh yeah, I just walk up and I put the sword in the back of her neck.
Nice.
I jog. When they're down, you stab them.
Nice. Good. That invokes the move Slay a Keeper. So let's read the text of that move. When you deliver the killing blow to a keeper, you learn some of their secrets. Handily. You may select one of the following. You can either take a +1 ongoing to any move directly related to hunting the next keeper. You can take a +1 forward to turn the key. That's if you want to like fuck with the blue flame. You can reveal part of the keeper's secret plan. At the end of the session, I'll ask you, what did you glimpse when you killed the keeper? And you'll tell me 3 distinct images you saw in your mind's eye and mark an XP at the end of the session. Your choice.
Yeah. I'm pretty earthy and grounded, so we're gonna just hit that +1 ongoing. I don't want shit in my head. So
all right, nice. Just make a note of that for yourself. Any move directly associated with it. So like anything you do like while you're on the mission doesn't count necessarily, but if you're like looking for the next keeper, that counts. Okay. Awesome. And just describe it. Like, give me the killing blow. What does it look like when she dies? What is it? How does it feel? All that.
It is very much that I do jog. Too many dwarven apple donuts, and I put the sword through the back of her neck, and that kind of looks sort of heroic. And then there's the bit where I start moving the blade around to make sure the head's off. And
Nice.
I put my foot on the back of her, and we want to be done.
Nice.
And I'm
what
like,
kind of evidence do you bring back to the church to prove that you killed her?
Boy. Well, we got to deal with that blue thing inside first.
Yeah,
so
true
I'll
too,
worry about scalping her later. Or she's got rings too.
Yeah, she did have a ring. That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a detail.
Probably a ring.
Yeah. Well, Weary would have seen that actually. Like Weary would have seen that ring, right? If Weary, I think it makes more sense for you to in the fiction.
Oh yeah,
if you
Weary.
like, follow up on that.
And I will say, hey, there's a blue thing in the basement of the house.
Yeah, I'm like joining the party, but I'm kind of like floating through the air. I kind of look like a jellyfish moving through this storm.
Ooh,
as
nice.
I'm flying up through.
You can turn that off anytime now.
Logan's all about the drama.
I got a reputation
to maintain, indeed.
Weary, you okay, Weary?
Yeah. How are you feeling, Weary? How's it going? That was all happening in a matter of seconds, right? Just so everybody has a good sense of that.
Yeah, I think my clothes went on fire and everyone could smell like burning flesh for a second, and then he like shrugs out of those clothes, so he just has like his vestments and stuff like that. And I think he looks like pissed off that he like failed, basically, right? Like,
well, you did draw her attention in a way, so that counts for something.
Yeah, and there's like steam still coming off his body.
I love it. It looks like we lost Garrett. We'll give him a sec. Do you pocket that ring, Weary, that you saw?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And I have an idea of what Garrett's character would have seen too with the
yeah, I want to follow up on that for sure. Wait, because I think that's interesting. I was determined to like push on this like idea of Archon wants to explore deeper meanings and mysteries, and Kravis just wants to kill the keepers.
I like that.
Fuckers, that's our job.
I know, he's like, I want to just feel pain from everywhere, and like, why?
Kravis like, start with this.
You feel pain anytime. More relevant.
Good. All right, let's just take a quick bio break since we're waiting on Garrett.
Okay.
You cool?
I induced a break, right? Sorry.
So it goes.
No.
Next 3 weeks will be so much better.
So Lowell, I think I heard on Gauntlet that you studied Arabic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was I took that as my summer course in high school, and then I did that throughout college, and I did my year abroad in Cairo.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was in anthropology, so it was all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Great.
Have you kept up with it? I have not kept up with mine at all, and I'm sad.
I could maybe sound out the alphabet, but that's about it right now.
Yeah, that's kind of.
So what was your background with that?
So I studied international business, and as a part of that, had 15 hours in Arabic. And then I didn't study abroad in a country that exclusively spoke Arabic because it was kind of risky at the time when I was coming out of college to go anywhere near there. But I did get to go to what's it called? Alhambra, and talk with some traders around there and do some bargaining in Arabic. So that was kind of fun.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, I haven't really touched it since then.
Yeah.
Well, I lived in Dubai for a while.
Oh wow.
But working language was English.
Yeah.
I could easily get around. When I was in Cairo, it was just after the Muslim Brotherhood had started to do some bombings there.
Oh boy.
Back, this would be 1990. So that it was just starting to get a little messy there.
My sister was -1.
Yeah, I'd love to go to Egypt sometime and see all of that. Like, fascinated with it.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it was. It was interesting living there. So the museum was the big Cairo museum, the archaeological museum. Imagine if people just stacked shit around and there was nobody monitoring whether people were touching things and stuff. It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Oh, man, that's wild. It's like until I like studied abroad, I didn't, have a grasp on like just how different some places could be and like what they prioritize and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially really, really old stuff. Like where I was staying, there was like, cathedrals and things that are just hundreds and hundreds of years old, predating America. And like right next to them is just like a dispenser box that you can get like, sex toys from. And I'm just like, how is this a thing?
All right. So we're waiting on Fraser. Give me a sec.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Oh, okay. You there's no video, so that's why I asked.
Oh, it says that I have a video. Is that good?
Yep, there you are. Yep, we can see you now. Yeah. All right. I want to explore that moment a little bit with Archon and Weary. Like, what was the precise requirement of the move, Archon? What does Weary have to tell you?
I need to touch your bare skin with my skin, and then we have telepathic connection for 1 hour. That's the description. But for me, it's more interesting to dive into the emotions and the feelings, and I also offer some of mine. So mutual exchange.
I'm into that. What would you share, Weary? Either willingly or unwillingly.
I think it would have gone to like his training for taking pain. Like it's like a Dune moment where it's like, I must not fear, fear's the mind killer kind of thing moment.
Right. Yeah.
While he's on fire. Yeah. So I think it goes back to like his training, and it's like a, typical looking cathedral with like the light pouring in and stuff, and there's all these people around him with like torches, and I think they're taking turns burning his skin and like actually forcing him to like take the pain and stuff. But then the interesting thing is when he shrugs out of his vestments and stuff like that, there's no burn marks on his skin or anything like that.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah.
Very intriguing. Do you want to learn something from Archon as well?
Sure.
Archon, what do you reveal inadvertently or willingly?
Well, pain training is something I've never done, and I'm deeply impressed. And really, I will tell you directly that you have completely changed, even if you don't realize you were a different person before. And the purple creature of torture has touched you. And nobody is ever sane. So that's not something unnatural, but you should be aware of that. That's what I tell you. For me, I have to reveal to you that there's a blank space there where there should be fear. That is something which is painful, actually, for me. Might be a reason for my studies.
He sounds like a really, really fun guy.
Yeah, you're definitely not just a sociopath.
No. But talk.
Oh, you went out for just a second there. Garrett.
Yeah, wrestling there with your fabrics and so on. I mean, I saw that you touched perverted elements with your energy, so I'm deeply interested. How did that feel? Is your magic affected in any sense that the elements you transform were perverted already before, not only by you?
Are you like asking this out loud to me, like my character?
Yes. Yes, and I'm trying to trigger one of your flags by that.
I see. So ask the question one more time.
You touched with your energy, you pervert elements. That's a matter of fact, isn't it? So, but these elements were perverted already before by somebody else. What does that do to you when these two perversions intermingle?
I don't see this magic as any kind of a perversion. This is the natural extension of our human will over the elements around us.
Which is never a perversion. It's manifest destiny, God damn it.
This is humanity perfected.
Hey, I know from perversions, but let's leave the metaphysics. There's stuff in the basement, magic crap. So somebody who knows that, who might be floaty guy, maybe want to go in and check it out.
Yeah, I'll aloft down and the storm will start to dissipate.
Indeed.
Weary, you don't look well. And I'll offer a healing potion.
Oh, thanks.
Straight to healing potion, huh? No bandages, no poultices and herbs.
No, that's all I've got is healing potions.
Indeed. Who's going down into the basement? Sounds like it was. Sounds like it was Logan. Initially, at least. Logan down in the basement. There's a little ladder. It just goes down like maybe not even 15 feet. And as you get down the ladder on your left, there looks to be like a box of provisions, or like you can see or not provisions, but like you can see like little cured meats and things like that. Cured meats, things like dried vegetables, things like that. Maybe like a couple of containers of raw milk, right? On one side, and on the other side there is a large brazier. Inside of which there is a blue flame, that doesn't seem to be giving off as much heat as it should be. And it's about the size of the flame is like at its sort of nucleus, it's about the size of like a basketball, right, with like flame coming up. And so, what do you do?
Well, I don't suppose they like told us what this thing was exactly. They just know it's the Azure Flame.
You might know something.
I want to see if I do know anything, consulting a book from this lovely bundle of books that I've been hauling around with me wherever I go.
Oh, nice. You get a +1 on spout lore, and then just name the book.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's like Keepers and Keys Volume 1 because it's Azure Flame.
Okay. It's alphabetized. Nice. I love it. Roll plus int, +1.
7.
Ooh, eke that one out. Something interesting, something useful. Oh, something interesting. It's not. I guess that's also kind of useful. I don't care. It's not the flame that is the thing. It's these crystals. These crystals that are like piled up at the base of the brazier. You can extinguish the flame and just gather up the crystals, right?
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'll do so. Since it's always, since for some reason the book goes away and is no longer useful, I'll just slam the book down on
you drop it in the fire.
Yeah, just to kind of push him out. And then,
well, it can always be your fictional justification for why you know something, right?
Right.
So,
right.
You just don't get the +1 anymore.
Right.
So do you do that? Do you put the flame out and gather the crystals up?
Yep, that's the plan.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good. Sounds good. What about everybody else? Like, do you guys? What's everyone? I just want to go around the table and find out what everyone's doing. Let's start with Kravis. What would you be doing in this sort of like downtime moment?
Well, I think I just want to double check with Weary and make sure he's got evidence, and then I'll pull out my shovel and begin digging because you bury bodies.
Indeed.
And so I get to work.
Perfect.
Watching those guys.
What about you, Archon? Archon? Am I saying that right? Am I getting that right?
Yes,
Archon.
Archon.
Yeah.
Archon is still reflecting on what he saw in the heart sorrow of the keeper before she died.
Which was nothing because Kravis put a sword through her head. So he did that. That's a point of drama. You can go have it out with Kravis over that if you want. But I purposely set that up so that he would kill her before you learn anything.
So I missed to roll my move, unfortunately. Then I will follow the others into the basement and investigate.
What about you, Weary? What are you up to?
I think, I'll like loot the body, and then I think we just get a shot of his like consternation when he gets the potion, because I think he's not used to like friendly behavior towards him. He's always like dispatched to do a singular task alone, and isn't used to receiving kindness and stuff like that.
Interesting. As far as like her body goes, she's got there's the ring, of course. The ring has like a sort of it's just like a gold ring with like a red gem set in it, and the red gem is it's inscribed with like her symbol. It's like her name essentially, but like in her whatever her native language is, and in this setting. And the gem is like it's not like a clear crystalline red. It's like a ketchup red. You know, it's like a stone more than a gemstone, or more than a gem, I guess, or more than a jewel. And she has nothing else on her person except for just like her robes, her furs, and stuff like that. So, her little helmet, her little skull cap thing as well. So.
Cool. Okay.
And then inside the cabin, there's her footlocker, and then just the stuff that's down in the basement. At what point, Archon, do you want to go down to the basement? At what point during Logan's investigation of the scene, or whatever, or coping with the blue flame?
As late as possible. I take my time. Yeah.
So by the time you get down there, he's already like he's like scooping out the crystals out of the brazier into a sack.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I'm like individually wrapping them and then like placing them inside a sack so they're not like touching each other, because I don't know what they are really all about. But...
Oh, it's more like bath salts. It's like handfuls of like.
Oh,
crystals.
Okay. They're not big crystals. They're okay. I got you.
No, they're like granular. Yeah. You can just put them in a sack.
So
you can work that in your gear too if you want.
When it's possibly too late, then I would like to see what the others might have destroyed by their bad behavior, like not respecting how the elementals have been organized and arranged there in the basement. Focus, and would like to see what the consequences of our
of plundering this cabin?
Yeah, what is about to happen down here when we leave?
I mean, in the short term, nothing. Having those blue crystals on your person could be an issue, right? I mean, it is a key. It is a source of power. It may have some kind of sentience. We don't know, but it's going to be with you, and so. I don't think it's going to be anything so like pervasive as like the One Ring or whatever, but it could be something that it's sort of a hazard of the job, I think, really. Anything else before we wrap this scene?
Yeah, I think I would like try and get Weary to pop open this footlocker if it's locked or something.
Yeah, you want to check it out, Weary?
Sure. Yeah, I've got the trap expert.
Sure, roll it. See how it goes.
So far, Dex hasn't been working out, so we'll see. 2d6. So I failed again.
Poor Weary. Well, this is 2 experience points at least that you're up to so far.
It's the exact same roll too. 1 and a 3.
So you're sitting on a 6.
Yeah.
I want to try and help. Yeah, I
How
want
would
to
you
try and
help?
help.
How would you help?
I think his hands are still burned and kind of trembling, and I'll just kind of kneel down next to him, and in a strange moment, all of my robes are flat, and I just kind of grab his hands, and I'm like, here, let me try and help you, and I'm just trying to steady his hands and help him turn the mechanism or whatever he's doing.
Mm-hmm. That's probably aid with dexterity.
Okay. 7.
Okay, that's enough to bump you up then. So what happens on a 7 to 9 on Trap Expert?
It is 7 to 9. You still do it, but the GM will offer you 2 options between suspicion, danger, or cost.
Let's just make it simple here.
Oh wait. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's tricks of the trade.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. You're checking for traps, right? Yeah.
Hold 1.
Mm.
Is there a trap here? What does the trap do?
When activated.
What else in here? I guess, is there a trap here? And if so, what activates it?
There's a trap. If you fiddle with it, if you fiddle with the tumbler too much, basically a little needle trap will pop out and prick your finger. So.
Okay.
But knowing that, you can kind of dispatch it pretty easily. So.
Right. Okay. I'll use the butt of my dagger to press on it so that the needle goes into the butt of the
Nice.
dagger, and then I move it aside.
And then after that matter, it's a pretty simple matter of just it's a pretty simple lock. You can jimmy it open and pop it off, and then open up the footlocker. Inside the footlocker is there is a pack, like a traveling pack. I assume it's hers. Maybe she took when she kind of came out this way. There is a stack of notebooks, just a stack of bound parchment essentially, and inside she's written things. You don't have time to go through it all right now, but you can take those with you. And then there's a scroll. There's a scroll and a leather scroll tube. Those are the things she found.
Okay. I guess I'll get the scroll to Kravis probably, because Templars read scrolls, right? I don't really know much about Templars.
Templars are just religious enforcers.
So he hands me the scroll and I go,
Inquisitors.
and I reach and hand it over to Logan.
Just passing it along. This looks fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so note the scroll in your possessions, Logan. What about who's going to take the writings and who's going to take the pack?
I will want all of the writings to try and study whenever we get a chance.
Okay.
But whether or not I carry them, someone else can carry them if they like.
Mm. The writings add 1 weight to your weight. So.
Is the pack like adventuring gear?
Yeah, it's 3 uses of adventuring gear.
Okay, I already have one, so whoever wants it that doesn't have it, that might be wise.
Yeah. And you can just add to your total number of uses if you wish. If you have 5 or whatever, you can just add it to make it 8.
I'll grab the writings and shove them into my bag.
Cool.
Maybe the wizard will want them later. Maybe we'll use them for kindling. It's all good.
Nice.
Is Kravis one of the pictures on that board? Are you
Yes.
that weird ass guy with the eyeball? That's pretty cool.
Actually, looking at the 2 pictures, I would have, if I didn't know, if they weren't titled, I would have guessed that Archon was the one on the right and that Kravis is the one on the left, based off what we know about the characters. But
Yeah.
I have a gorgeous
When
head
you-
of Barry Gibb hair. So
you do indeed. I
Apparently.
know.
Yeah, but you got You got a little messed up in your eye there.
Yeah.
Right, he's got the stone eye that he pops out and he's playing with. This is just a little bit of rest. There's nothing else to do here. So let's just go on to the next thing, if that's all right. Unless anybody wants any scenes, you're gonna have plenty of time to do downtime scenes as we go.
Would any we should take the rations, obviously, that were down there.
So it's 20 total. Yeah.
20 rations. Oh wow. And then would any of her vestments be classified as like leather armor or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
I just want to mention that I'm not too happy that Logan has the crystals.
Okay.
Would you like to carry the crystals?
I think they belong to me, but it seems you got them first.
What claim do you have to them?
I think there's the Azure creature, and I haven't figured out yet which creature, Azure creature it is, living in them. And I want to sleep with them overnight.
Hey, yeah, so let's not do that.
Exactly, yes. You shouldn't let that happen.
Yeah. Logan, you hold on to those.
So just as an out of character thing, the move tourniquet, essentially what it means is if you take some time to become familiar with the key, study the key, activate the key in some way, you invoke that move, right? The idea is like you're all ostensibly helping the church like hide these things, but you're also maybe like, you know, going rogue a little bit and are going to, you know, you can maybe become thrall to it. You could maybe become part of whatever the big master plan is with the keepers. Who knows? But it's just if you want to. I originally called the move caress a key. It's that idea, right? Like,
yes.
So just know that's a thing. That's available to you if you ever want to frame up a scene and show your character doing that. It is a 7-day journey north to Frostdale. We're going to do a procedure or undertake a perilous journey. It's a custom procedure that I do. We don't quite follow we essentially follow the move, but I add more to it. 7-day journey to Frostdale. Per the undertake a perilous journey move, I need to know who is going to be the trailblazer. This is the person who's essentially navigating to Frostdale. I need to know who is going to be the scout. This is the person who goes ahead of the group and reports back periodically, keeping their eyes open for danger. I need to know who's the quartermaster. This is the person managing all those rations and any other supplies that you would need to manage. And then the fourth person does not have a job, but they're not off the hook for things. So, so just decide whatever makes sense for you guys to be whichever role.
I wouldn't mind scouting because I like the idea of me going ahead and also like meeting with people and updating them on my like other mission of getting close to the Templar and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. So you're the scout?
Sure.
No, I think I should do that.
The scout?
Yes. I
Why?
should do that.
Why?
Why? Because I can see things beyond the mortal eye. And so I'm much better equipped to approach incoming danger. What do you think? I might want to have like a trigger your flag.
Which is what? Which one?
Which let me keep you from going first into danger so I can go by myself.
Yeah, so there'd be me going into danger first.
Yeah, you're supposed to let him keep you from going first in danger.
So stop me.
You'll also stop him. Yeah, I think he wants you to stop him. Yeah.
It was my failing in the forest, so I should be the one to make up for it now.
Well, but the one who is doing failures should think twice going again first.
And I'm God.
Okay.
How do you distract him or get him focused on something else so you can continue being the scout?
Yeah.
I say I would be worried about those crystals and not the road ahead if I were you.
Good.
Accepted.
Oh, it's
So who's
snowing.
Trailblazer?
Hey, I'll do Trailblazer. That's all good.
Yep. And so who's going to be the quartermaster then in that case?
I don't care. Either one of us.
I can go into your minds, and for the sanity of the party, I can take care. So maybe I'm a good quartermaster.
Extinguish their hunger.
Extinguish the hunger. You are not hungry. Turn that hunger down.
Sign on a weight loss program.
No, it's not time to eat.
Let's see how I roll.
Good. Okay, so hold rolls. I don't need rolls yet. But I do have questions though. So again, just in our aim here to flesh out the world, flesh out the characters just a little bit. Undertake a perilous journey questions. Trailblazer, I want to know about a landmark or other feature of the environment that you are using to navigate by. Is there a history associated with that landmark? If so, what is it? That's for the Trailblazer. You can tell me later. I don't need it yet.
Okay.
For the scout, my classic scout question: what are you worried about in this stretch of wilderness of running into? What are you really hoping not to run into? I want to know that. And then for the quartermaster, I want to know this is my favorite always. For the quartermaster, you have opportunities when you guys are making camp and stopping to rest to sort of like divvy up food, and you're also kind of like you seem like the kind of person who pays attention to what people do, a lot. I want to know, in the party, one of your companions does something that you find extremely annoying, like really, really annoying. But also another companion, maybe the same companion though, does something that you find surprisingly endearing. So I want to know what the annoying thing is that one of your companions does, and I want to know the surprisingly endearing thing that one of your companions does when you guys are just, walking, hanging out at camp, whatever. And Logan, you're not on the job. You don't have a job, right?
Correct.
There are all sorts of rumors about something terrible that lives in the caverns of Frostdale Mountain. What have you heard? Let's take a quick 2-minute break. We'll come back, answer those questions, and do the perilous journey.
Okay. Coffee.
No coffee for me. It takes too long to prepare.
I went down to discover there was only dregs left in the pot. My wife had been at the pot.
I had 3/4 of a cup. I was so excited. I was like, yes. I'll drink one for you, Lowell.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was worried. I was like, oh, but there's no coffee left, but there was. So. Okay. Kravis, what are you navigating by?
So this is a place where we know long ago there was some kind of big sky war between large things. I don't know if they're giants or titans. It's all part of the whole crazy stuff. And essentially, during that war, lots of those guys fell. So essentially, there's a trail of giant corpses, so just bones that lead up to the mountain. People come up and like mark on them and carve them and stuff, and they're very visible. Easy trail of death.
And so you're heading in the right direction because like these start to become more frequent, basically,
Yeah.
right? Oh, good.
Where people have pushed like a skull over as like a marker,
Nice.
you know.
Yeah, nice. I like it. So we're talking. So like, were these giants? Were these bodies big enough to where like you could walk inside the skull like that big?
You could probably camp inside. Like one guy could comfortably camp inside a skull.
Good. Thank you. Perfect. Let me have your trailblazer roll. Let's see how you do. 7-day journey. Let's see if you make it in 6 or 5 or.
And is there anything I'm rolling with this with?
Plus wisdom. You roll
Plus wisdom. 6. Roll. Oh, that is not a good roll. That is a Fraser level roll. So that's a 4 plus 1 is a 5.
Okay, great. Hold on to that. We'll come back to it. Go ahead and mark an experience point.
Okay.
Let's go to our scout. Weary, what are you most worried about running into on this stretch of the journey?
I think I'm worried about running into more. I don't think they're Templars, but I think there's like a sect of the same kind of like a clerical church or a Templar church that hunts like the guild like me, like the faceless people.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And they like have a manner of detecting us in some way.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about your order a little bit. I mean, you are sort of like essentially enslaved by them, right?
Yeah.
And we're imagining them to be like a House of the Black and White Faceless Man style organization where you it sounds like they have the ability to sort of like change your flesh because like they burned you but then made you look not burned, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we know, based off what you've told us, we know that they are sort of at cross purposes with the church vis-a-vis the keepers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Good.
And that's like the question about what I was trying to retrieve for them, I think is going to be like a there's some documentation between, you know, two important people, like letters that correspond about our order that could reveal us, kind of thing.
Good, I like it. Okay, so we'll talk about that when we get to Frostdale for sure. We'll talk about that more. But so you're hoping not to run into like they're essentially a group of people who hunt you.
Yeah.
Everyone's hunting somebody in this setting. It feels like.
Yeah.
Good. I love it. Well, let's see how your roll goes and see if you run into them or not.
Yeah,
Or
I've
into
been
something
rolling
else.
real well. We'll see. And I'm rolling with what for this?
Wisdom.
Oh, I took a -1 to that one. Okay. 9.
Nice. We'll talk about that in a moment. I just want to get the roll on the table, and I'm going to make a quick note of your answer too, in case if I don't use it now, I might use it in the future. It's a good little story hook for the future, I think. Yeah, I might hold on to that one. But your roll's on the table. Good, thank you. Let's go to the quartermaster.
Mm-hmm.
One of your companions does something you find incredibly irritating or annoying. What is it?
Oh, no, that's so obvious. That's Logan with his fabrics. Like he's rustling around the whole time, and even in the middle of the night. I hate that, and especially the spirits hate it as well. So all these little natural spirits, like from the water trail, from the trees, and they get irritated, and that will cause problems to us one day. That his dominating kind of magic on the nature, like it will cause problems one day, and this is why it's getting on their nerves.
Mm-hmm. So there's a bigger question too. It's not just that like you find his swirling cloaks annoying, right? Like it's just
Maybe
what
it's
it's like
superstition.
a symbol it reminds you of.
Maybe it's just my because I don't like it, I interpret it that way. But let's see.
So
But there's
Logan,
also something.
so Logan, like, so it sounds like even when you're sleeping, like your cloaks are doing their thing, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Do you do that on purpose, or do you have any control over that?
Like I have I have control over the magic when I'm like conscious and using it, but when I'm asleep, like it's just the aura that's just still billowing around me. It's like still moving them a bit.
Well, so Archon, one of your companions does something that you find surprisingly sweet or endearing. What is it?
Yeah, I expect our Templar Crevice is he's communing once in a while, right? That's what I was supposing. Like he's a faithful person.
Are you faithful? I don't know, Travis.
I know how to look faithful.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and that's especially surprising to me.
It's actually how I cover napping.
Well, so but this is your
show
perception, though, Archon. So how do you perceive it to be endearing?
And I find it endearing because you show some you show some intimacy. You usually like your day-to-day procedure towards us is completely missing. Like you're pretend to be such a tough person, and then you're suddenly vulnerable and intimate with yourself. And I wonder if this could either be something which has to do that you have something personal going on, some grief or something, or is it something even bigger? Are you transforming currently, and at the end of our journey, you turn into the butterfly version of yourself?
I love it.
That's
but
great.
Secretly, it's just Kravis like pretending to be pious.
Yes.
Good. Logan, you've heard rumors about something terrible that lives in the mountains, in the caverns rather, of Frostdale Mountain. What is it?
So this is how the story goes, is that there are these creatures that live there that are native to there, and they're called corpse reaver spiders, and they they're said to range in size from like really small to dog sized, and the thing that they do to survive up there is they'll catch things in their webs, and then they'll all come bundling out of one corpse and into the fresh corpse to keep warm.
Oh, interesting. So they like catch you in your webs, and then they just basically make a home inside your body.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Interesting. So like when you see a body hanging up in one of these webs, it could be like a colony of these spiders, possibly.
Right. Or one that's gotten,
or a really big one. Okay. Okay, nice. Gross. I love it. All right. Good.
A little nightmare fuel for everyone.
Yeah. Okay, so Archon, give me the quartermaster roll. Let's just see how that went. Roll plus wisdom.
Yeah, I plus wisdom. Oh, lucky me. That's an 11.
Nice. I can't actually remember what happens on the 10 plus on the quartermaster. Let me check it. I think it's just like it's all cool, but
It's all cool. We have like nice spider meat now to eat.
yeah, right. Let me just take a look real fast. Here we go. I had the moves pulled up, then I closed them accidentally. Let's see. On the 10 plus, reduces the number of rations required by 1. Okay, well, it might. Okay, well, so all right. This is not going well. The journey, Kravis. the problem with like navigating by these like corpses of these like large skeletal corpses is that occasionally they didn't fall pointing in the right direction. Okay, and so it's easy to like hang. It's easy to maybe like hang a little bit east when you should have been going a little bit north, right? And maybe you shouldn't navigate like by a specific giant corpse, but just like sort of density, right? In any case, for whatever reason, you get a little twisted up. I think it's going to. I think it's gonna. You're probably gonna add like. I think you're gonna add like maybe 2 days to the journey, so it's gonna be a 9-day journey now. Which is 9 rations from each of you, except reduced by 1, runs it down to 8 rations for each of you, because Archon is doing a great job managing the supplies. And that's all going on. Let's settle the rations issue right now. How many did you guys need 8 each. You found 20 back at her place, and then whatever you started with. So that's 32 total that I need. Do you guys have?
Can I get 3 from the 20? I've got 5.
Yeah, we should all have 5, and we should all be able to take 3 from the 20.
Okay. All right. So no one's like going hungry, basically, right?
Right.
Awesome. Let's talk about the scout roll. So let's go ahead and just answer your establishing question in a little more detail here, Weary. You are. My question to you was that the mayor of Frostdale has something valuable from the war, right? Something that either you or your order wants. Tell us again, what was the nature of what they have? You're muted, Weary.
So for what they have?
Yeah, like what is it that the mayor of Frostdale has you're trying to get your hands on?
Yeah, I'm thinking sort of like my idea was like national treasure with those letters that the famous people wrote each other about the secrets of the government, except that it's a secret about my order that could reveal like something of them.
Okay,
like a little Dan Brown action.
Let's name your order. Let's go ahead and give them a name. I think they've existed long enough without a name, so let's get that done.
Sure. Maybe like the Shadow Court or something.
Shadow Court?
Yeah.
I love it. I'm going to make a note of that. In my notes. So they have basically, so what is this document so these documents, like, do they like basically name like members of the Shadow Court? Like, is your membership normally secret? Is that what it is? And
yeah,
these letters like name people who are part of it?
Yeah, I think it's like a Freemason thing, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it has, maybe they didn't tell me what exactly is on the letter, but it like names or a location that will lead them to us or something.
Yeah, I like it. That's good. The scouting thing is going to be just a little bit more mundane than that. You have a certain, I think you always have like a sort of basic paranoia about like people who are trying to like uncover the Shadow Court and kill people associated with it. And so maybe that's running around in your mind. But as far as like your scouting goes, what you might run into on a 7 to 9, you're going to run into this thing. You're not going to get the drop on them. They're not going to get the drop on you. But this is what you run into. You basically see, you're at a certain point during the journey, a few days in, you're going up on like the little ridge and like kind of looking out over like the land that's like kind of spreading out in front of you, right? Getting up high, like Link, looking out at the terrain, seeing what you can see, right? Mm-hmm. And a little ways down below, down the ridge, you see a pair of snowy owlbears, a big, large mother or father snowy owlbear, probably a mother, and then like a smaller, immature snowy owlbear. The snowy owlbear is really big. It's like a polar bear but an owlbear.
They're probably not as cute as I'm picturing in my head.
I don't know. Maybe I guess it's relative to like what way are you experiencing the snowy owlbear. You're not going to be able to get the jump on them because I think basically like they look up and see you standing up on the ridge,
right? And
so now they're alert to like people in this wilderness area, but they don't have to jump on you either. What do you do with this information? Do you just ignore it and go back to the camp, or what?
Do I know enough about them that like if I retreated, would they follow and attack me, or are
Roll
these
spot
like?
lore, see what you know.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes
Plus
sense. Int is 0. Okay. 8.
Snowy owlbears. I'll ask you how you know this, but snowy owlbears can always track by scent anyone who touches one of their eggs or who touches one of their young.
Okay.
And and the thinking is that they'll track you to the end of the earth.
Oh,
Too.
really? Okay.
Yeah. That's the rumor, though, right? How do you know that? It could just be, that might not even be. It's maybe true. So there's some elements of truth in that, but
Maybe it's like a nursery rhyme then, like that kids always tell each other that parents tell them to be afraid of owl bears or whatever, and people, it's kind of got ingrained in society so that some people don't know if it's true or not.
like if you run into an owlbear egg nest, like don't touch it or whatever. Don't touch the eggs if you run into a nest or something like that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, so okay, but that doesn't really have any super amount of bearing on this present situation. What do you do?
Well, we haven't touched them, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So maybe I'll just like back away and tell them what I've found and see if people want to take longer to go around them or what.
That could be the thing that slows you guys down a little bit too, I suppose. That could be part of it.
Makes sense. Yeah. Do you guys want to fight some owl bears? Like in my head, honestly, it just is like a bear with a lot of feathers that looks like it would hug you.
Oh, it will. Trust.
Oh.
It will hug you with its claws and its razor sharp beak.
Yeah. Well, I can tell
We'll
Lowell
hug the shit
knows
out
what
of
it
you.
is. I can tell Lowell knows what it is because his face was like, oh, fuck. No.
Oh, do you not know what an owlbear is at all?
No,
Crazy?
no,
Oh, okay. It's an owlbear is like it's part bear, part owl. It's got the body of a bear, in this case, a polar bear.
Oh.
And then it has like a large owl head, and then it's partially fur, partially feathers, and claws, and it can walk upright.
Oh,
If it
okay.
Has eyes the size of hot pockets.
Indeed. Yeah, they're big. Yeah,
Interesting
yeah. Yes, they will rip you apart. Yeah.
That's an interesting simile that happened there.
Why is the size of hot pockets?
As a quartermaster, I have to say, can you eat their flesh?
You can probably eat anything, right? Yeah, I mean, I will tell you that just as that it would be common knowledge that like if you could find the nest and acquire an unhatched owlbear egg, that would fetch a lot of money somewhere. So,
Oh. So what do you guys want to do?
Crumbled all bear eggs.
Can you use the wind to just blow the eggs to us?
Well, I mean, we all know if we touch the eggs, they're going to keep hunting us. So
Yeah. Maybe.
We can lead them somewhere where they cause some trouble.
sounds like Travis is going to say
This
fuck
all
these
sounds
owlbears.
like way too much work to get us killed. I'm all in favor of not fighting owlbears. Who's with me?
Sure. Yeah, we can just go around.
Yeah, dude, we got a mission.
Yeah.
That's 2 votes for no owlbears.
I'm indifferent to the owlbear combat.
We still have enough rations. We will make it without all bear eggs.
Yes,
That's true. This would be like halfway through the journey. You don't even know you're going to be like off track or anything yet, right? So
Yeah.
it's all like,
But
yeah, we got
It's
plenty
okay,
of food.
it's
It's
okay.
cool.
Although
it's okay.
in the movie of this though, I'm picturing us like coming up on a ridge looking down at these things and then turning and looking at a path in the forest and it just looks ominous as fuck though. We're like
Nice. As you guys are,
Yeah, because I discovered this vulnerability in Crevice recently, so I touch him carefully on the shoulder and say, "It's okay. We don't need to hunt all bears now. It's okay. We are on dwarf size, eye on eye level. It's okay."
glad to have you on my team.
I want one more bit of color for the perilous journey before we wrap it, before we get to Frostdale. At a certain point, you're going to get to a large battlefield where this ancient war between these titans took place, okay? And it's just going to look like, I think you actually have to like, I think like as you kind of like, you would almost have to like get to a high ground and look down on it to get a good sense of what you're actually in the middle of, because it just looks like huge arching like stone formations. But zoomed out, it would look like huge like rib cages and spines and half buried skulls and things like that, like jutting out of the earth, right? Massive battle took place here. I'd like to know from each of you, how has this particular, apart from what I've just described, how has this land sort of, either the ecology of it or the appearance of it, how has it changed as a result of this ancient Titan war? What's different that you see as you move through it that lets you know that this is a place where this ancient conflict took place? The first person to have an idea, just throw it out there.
Maybe there's like a perpetual weird weather event above it.
Interesting. What does it do?
Maybe it's
Because they're like storm giants, I guess, that went crazy or whatever, right?
actually, I was thinking maybe it's continually falling ashes. Like, yeah.
Good.
Like there was like a cloud fortress above, and it's sort of perpetually burning up there.
Nice. I love it. It's good. Who else wants to jump in there? That's a good detail.
I think there are no birds anymore in the region. The birds disappeared and didn't return anymore.
So it's like a sudden stillness, a sudden quiet, right? Like before you can hear like chirping and other wildlife sounds, but when you're in this place, it's just like dead still. Good.
For some reason, something is different in that area, that birds can't exist anymore.
Indeed.
Just birds.
Interesting. Who else has an idea? David, what do you think?
I think that there is like a frozen river, and if you like dust off some of the ash from it, you can see that the river is like flowing the wrong way, like it's going up the mountain instead of down underneath the ice.
I like that. I'm interpreting that as like some sort of like magic that the giants did, like as part of like their like war requisitioning or resource, like kind of management, right? Like, or something. I don't know, that'd be my guess, but I like the idea. I like the visual of it nonetheless, regardless of what we think it was. What do you think, Paul?
I also picture that we're seeing signs of like almost Old West ghost town bits, because there would have been people that would have come out here to harvest like the teeth from the skulls and stuff. And those have all been taken, but there's still like the old like shacks and like almost bone mining equipment that has been left behind here. Ghost town, like.
Nice. If it ever comes up in the future, for example, if someone ever takes the ritual move, this counts as a place of power, this battlefield. Okay, so this is a place of power for purposes of moves that need one.
As we're moving through, I'd like to try to hit Kravis's flag, reveal a personal weakness so I can address it.
Yeah, let's have that scene. Frame it up. What does it look like?
I think we're like meandering through these giant jetting bones and the ashes are falling. And I tell Kravis that for people like us, failure isn't an option, and to have our failure emblazoned on the earth for forever would be a sense of great shame.
I say, well, you got some of your failure emblazoned on your skin from walking in front of that wizard lady.
Way to address it.
So sort of like that, huh?
Sure.
I'm just kidding. I slap him on the back kind of thing.
You have a way with words, Kravis, that's for sure. Short and pointed, just like your stature, and I meander on.
Short and pointed, just like your stature.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
good. Anybody else want a scene while we're in the middle of this? No, we all good? All right. Frostdale. I'm going to find a picture. I'm going to find a picture of the approach to Frostdale. Just take a minute.
If it helps, it's snowing in Canada right now.
See what my Googling powers produce for me. Let's see here. I Googled snowy fantasy scene snowy village. I don't know what it's going to give me.
There's some great ones actually on that. Search
Sounds
around
like-
Arctic kind of thing for 13th
yeah.
age. There's
This is
some
a pretty
cool
good one
stuff.
here.
Ooh, I actually just thought of a scene that I want to have back in that area while you.
Go for it. Yeah, I'll get that queued up while you frame up the scene and play it out.
Yeah. So I want to point out a forbidden place to Archon, and I think it's just like moving through these skeletons. I'm like pointing at one of the eye sockets, and there's supposed to be great power inside the minds of the ancient dead. Don't suppose you've ever forayed into such places, seeing as you seem to abhor perversions.
Archon,
Is Garrett frozen?
He's holding real still.
Oh yeah. It's-
People always freeze when they're directly addressed. And
Awesome. I need a quick bio break anyway. Just like 1 minute.
I'm seeing Guardians of the Galaxy in a few hours too.
oh, excellent.
Ooh, fun.
Yep.
Did you mark all your failed rolls for Eeps, Fraser?
I think I only failed one, right?
You
I thought you
failed at
failed
least
his-
2.
Yeah.
Well, I was about to fail and then you helped me, right?
There was a second one.
Because there's just the other ones. I have 2 fails. Yeah, just 2 fails, and then the second one
Okay.
you helped me in. So I marked 1 down.
No, you're right.
I was so close to failing.
Wow.
Garrett, did you hear any of the scene that I was describing, trying to entice you into? Okay.
Nothing. Please entice me.
So we were still in that snowy battlefield, and I came alongside you, and I pointed out one of these massive skulls, kind of pointed at the eye socket, and I was alluding to that there's supposed to be great secret magics located inside the skull cavities of these long dead gods, but you wouldn't want anything to do with that because it's just such a perversion, and I know how you feel about perversions of nature.
Yeah. Logan, you don't even understand what you're doing with your magic, do you? Yeah, that's the problem. You see, we can't pass by this place without investigating if it has something to do with the village ahead of us. So I would strongly suggest that we go up there and see what we discover, or possibly unleash. Because if there's something to be unleashed, then it should be unleashed before we go into the village, because we will solve everything for this village, don't we?
I just kind of I just kind of shrug my shoulders, and I'm like, I think the rest of the group is ready to move on, but I don't think that'll stop you from climbing in there.
So we're talking about climbing into the skull cavity of one of these down giants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that move. Who wants to do it?
We know who wants to do it.
I go first.
Indeed.
And last.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else is going.
First and last. I'm into it. What do you do as you approach one? I mean, what's your approach here? What are you thinking? What are you wondering?
Most important is that I interconnect with all things. My expanded consciousness is what I activate, we strengthen before I go in there. And well, I think it's time for my first telekinetic interaction with the world.
Okay.
So I will, just with the power of my mind, I will move small objects not heavier than weight 1 in no further than near range, belonging to this skull, like something like a teeth or something. It's not already more than weight 1.
Yeah, they harvest the teeth, but maybe there's like debris and
Yes.
and detritus that's kind of built up over the socket that would allow you access, right? So you can, if you want to spend the focus, I'm into that, to like kind of remove that stuff or whatever. I think it's a great idea.
Moving and activating things in there.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Arrangement.
As you're doing that, I'm just really going to read on what everybody else is doing while he's doing this.
So I'm sitting down and I'm getting a rope tied up for when he climbs into the eye socket and gets stuck.
Okay, very good, very good. What about Weary? What are you up to?
I wonder, maybe I'd be sizing it up for danger.
Yeah, I'm into that. You can be kind of like getting high ground and looking into the eye socket to see what you see. Give me a certain realities.
Okay. Where I was thinking trap expert to see if there's trap on it. Well, I guess that would make sense.
DR is more appropriate.
Yeah. Okay. And that was wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
That's the dump stat I need right now to make this scene interesting.
Well, I'm sure I will disappoint you. Oh, looks like I closed that window. Let's see if I pay. Oh yeah, 5. Good. Yeah.
Awesome. Market XP. What about you, Stormbreaker? What are you doing?
I'm just like griping at the rest of the group about I basically set up this whole situation just to gripe about Archon and how, he kept dumping on my magic, and now I'm kind of pointing out his flaws, like how bad of an idea this is. And
Indeed. I love it. I'm gonna make my move. I'm gonna make a strong one. So you are I think so. The socket. I think the eye socket is like about. It's about like the skull is buried in such a way that you once you clear the detritus away, the socket is about like the size of like a doorway, and it's buried about halfway down, into the earth, and so you have to kind of like hunker down a little bit, right, to get up in there, right, and the first thing you'll see as you hunker down to like look inside the socket to see what you see, you'll see what is essentially just a pile of small animal bones, like fox bones, squirrel bones, like all kinds of stuff like that, right? Just like kind of piled up near the base, right? And that's going on. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. So as you're looking underneath Archon, you see just like this pile of bones, like underneath the like kind of like right just as you were kind of crawl inside the eye socket, right? And you're looking at that, you're noticing that, and you're keeping your eyes open, right? Weary for whatever this could be, right? Like just kind of seeing what's going on, keeping your eyes open for it. And I think it just is not going to go well. there's a you hear like a does that make sense? Like a
Yeah.
and reaching up underneath the eye socket are a number of little like thin whip-like cords that fly out underneath the socket threshold and just begin to wrap around your wrists, wrap around your neck, wrap around your legs, right? Archon. And that's not good. I'm going to give somebody else a chance to react, though. Kravis.
I actually, I'll drop the rope and I look to see what Stormbreaker is going to do, because I don't like the idea of him like blasting wind in there and firing out him like a shot. So I'm like, what are you going to do?
Oh, Garrett, I just saw your message. Some kind of like tentacles like just grabbed you underneath the eye socket. Yeah. And is trying to pull you in. Okay. So what are you doing, Logan?
Like seeing the dwarf look at me like, what are you going to do about this? I figure I better react.
We've got to come up with a plan. Don't just jump off half-cocked.
There may not be time for plans. I think he's being pulled into the socket right now.
There's no fucking plan. I just grab
action.
I just grab you by the scruff of your like right of your shirt, and I'm just gonna blast off and try and move like the wind. Like that's one of my abilities, to just fly right up in there so we can try and deal with the situation.
Wait, let me get a handle on this. He's not pulled into the socket yet. So are you going to try to like wrench him out away from the thing's grip, or are you going to try to like, or something else?
Well, I think he's launching both of us up towards there to get up onto the socket to attack.
Yeah, I'm using. Yeah, I'm basically just trying to move us very, very quickly before he gets pulled in.
Okay, nice. And then once you get close up, are you just going to grab him, Kravis, and yank? Is that the idea?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right. Let me have a strength roll from Kravis, defy danger, with an aid roll from, if needed, from Logan.
Okay.
Since Logan's helping you get there quickly, right?
Oh dear.
A
9.
Not bad. I think what's going to happen is, I think the spell, because you had to fire it off really quickly, Logan. I think it just kind of you kind of have to just take what you can get, and you guys just kind of like fly forward, like you're not even ready for it, Kravis. It's just like something just like pushes you guys forward. You slam your shoulder up hard against the side of the skull, and you take a d6 damage.
Okay.
But otherwise, you're able to scramble and kind of get hold of Archon's boot before he gets pulled completely underneath. You can give me the scene from there. What does it look like?
Then I'm just gonna like get myself braced and kind of. This is rough. I'm not really caring about his stuff, but I also don't want to get my hands up in his skivvies, and so I'm just gonna kind of grab, and I'm just kind of leaning back on it, hoping it'll snap.
And it does, and you pull him out to safety. And as long as you scramble away from the threshold of the eye socket, you're safe. You're fine.
Yes. Good.
I look at Logan and I go, oh, maybe you ought to climb up and check on the mind of the giant.
Weary, this is the second time you have failed to notice or react to danger. You were in a spot where you should have seen that. What happened?
Maybe I was supposed to make contact with somebody when I was scouting ahead and couldn't because of the owlbears. So I was like up on high ground looking for them and saying that I was looking for danger, but I wasn't. And then danger actually happened, and I was like,
yeah, good.
Hey, they've got these things called glasses.
Are you addressing his weakness, his personal weakness?
From up here, you all look like little Eds.
Nice. Okay. Well, that was fun. We've got 15 minutes left. You guys are going to get to Frostdale after 9 days cold, bitter journey. I have a picture on the Google Doc. It's a good sized little village, right? Probably a couple hundred people. You see it. This is what the approach kind of looks like. Frostdale makes its existence. I want to mute you, Garrett. Frostdale's existence is basically derived. Its livelihood is derived from two different things. They trade with the Lenorm men in the far north, which is like kind of barbarian clan people, and they have a number of distilleries where they make the helpfully conveniently named Frost Ale. So Frost Ale of Frostdale. Every now and then someone gets the idea of like they should try to change the marketing on that. But then someone else was like, no, because it makes our name, you can read it Frosted Ale, right? And so maybe the whole Frosted Ale movement happened. Like maybe we should name it that. Anyway, that's just dumb internal politics of Frostdale. A village that is, despite its remoteness, is manages okay, right? Like they're just frost farmers, right? But they do okay. I mean, they're not like they're not living it up, and they're pretty simple people, but they've managed to carve out a little spot for themselves. Mm-hmm. I want to wrap up by I want to get the answers to all your establishing questions so that I can get things sorted for next session. I've already got yours, Weary, so I don't need that. But I do need to know all the rest of them. Let's go with Kravis. Somebody is working. There's someone who's proclaimed themselves a saint, or they claim to be a saint in this area. What are they a saint of, and why do you want to meet them?
So there's a guy that's called Soulforge. And
very appropriately named for this setting, I feel like.
Yes. And he's up here, and he's essentially supposedly a saint of relieving pains. Reminds me a little bit of Archon and his fascination with it. But the reason I'm very curious about this is from the description of this guy, this elf, and everything, is that I know him from being a Templar, and like a kind of a vicious torturer Templar, who kind of vanished or left out of the order. And what the hell he's doing here now, doing some kind of saint thing, I have no idea.
Okay, good. Do you have any hints about why what you think might be going on? Like, do you think has just turned a new leaf, or is he under the sway of something? Like, what are your suspicions?
I'm kind of ambivalent, but certainly when I was told about this by my superiors, they're like, he knows a lot of stuff, and he did a lot of things for us. If he's gone flipped to the holy side, that could be a problem.
So it could be like we need to silence him for some reason.
They didn't say that explicitly, but that's certainly on the table.
I think what I'm going to do for next session, I think I want to drill down on that for next session and suggest that maybe you guys were involved in something particularly big, right? Like some kind of really, really big deal thing in the world that you don't want to be connected. You don't want people to like generally think you were involved in. So we'll think about that.
Nice.
I love it. Thank you. Let's talk about Archon. Let's talk about this ancient temple complex, these abandoned ruins higher up in the mountain. Why do you want to get in there?
The spirits on our journey have whispered to me about that place. I saw that only like in some shades, but I can identify the shapes that they belong to these ruins. And what I learned about that place is that the brown creature of disobedience has built a sacred and important nest up there. The brown creature of disobedience. And I want to see what's going on there. Come rescue me again.
I want to know what's going on there too. We have it sorted out by next time. Good. Yeah. Great. Logan, someone you know moved to Frostdale years ago, and you haven't been in touch with them since. Who are they? Someone close to you. That's important.
Isabella Verga Strider.
Really powerfully named NPC. Like they just, everyone has such metal names in this setting. Soulforge, Stormbreaker. Well, say her surname again. Something Strider.
Verga Strider.
All right.
So basically, what that means is whenever she walks, she does not touch the ground.
Mm-hmm. Well, so what's your nature of the relationship with her?
She is also a mage, and
right.
yeah, I haven't thought too much further into that, but we probably trained together. Like we may have been involved in some other way. I don't know.
Yeah, be thinking about it for next session. I would like for it to be like a reason why Logan might want to find her, right? Like I want to know like why you might want to get your like paws on her again or whatever. Well, that sounded bad, but like why you want to get in touch with her and find out what happened to her. Good. Let's do our end of session move. And all right. So it seemed like everybody hit an alignment thing. I noted one for everybody. Did anybody not hit one? Or does anybody object to like the ones that people were trying to hit during the scenes?
Yeah, flags?
Or I'm sorry, that's what I meant, flags. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody hit a flag.
I think everybody hit a flag. I'm pretty sure. I remember the thief one. I remember the tell me about your weakness one. Tell me about your magic one. I remember that one. That all
Burst into danger.
Yeah. Good. Right. Yeah. So everybody can mark an XP. What was yours, Logan? Who's did you hit?
I hit Archon's right there at the end. Point out a forbidden place or thing, right. So I can try and get my hands on it.
Oh yes.
Yeah. That worked out great. That's good. I love it. Okay, so everybody mark an XP for flags. Let's talk about alignment statements. Let's just go down the table. I'm just going to go down in the order of the sheet. Kravis, deny mercy to a criminal or unbeliever. I don't think that happened. Oh, yeah, actually, it did. Actually, you definitely
lopped her head right off.
You lopped her head right off. Right. Like, yeah, that was it for her.
Okay.
That was in character. Like that was this. I think it was in the spirit of the alignment. Like it was like, no, fuck you, you're dead. We don't know if she wanted mercy, but we assume she didn't want to have her head cut off. So I think you should take it, mark an XP.
It seems like a safe presumption.
Yeah. I think that felt like the right thing for the alignment. Archon, what is your alignment statement?
Upset a relationship to see what happens.
What do you think?
I try to upset the relationships to everybody else.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on. I think it's going to take us a session to kind of everybody get into Archon's headspace as far as like the way Archon perceives the world, and that'll be fun to figure out as we go. I'm into that. Yeah, go ahead and mark an XP. And let's see, Logan. Discover something about a magical history. Did you?
I think so. I figured out these crystals a bit.
Yeah, I think you could probably go a little harder on that. Like as far as like actively studying them. Although you did figure out, like you did read your book and you did figure out how to like handle
right. It wasn't the fire, it was the crystals.
Yeah, I'm into that. Mark an XP. And let's go to Weary. What was yours?
I think mine is go into danger or something like that. Let's see. Druid. Fighter. Yeah. Leap into danger without a plan. Chaotic.
Did you do that?
I had a plan when I was sneaking up on her, I think, right?
Yeah.
So I
Lead
don't think
danger
so.
without a plan. Yeah, I don't think that really quite. Yeah, I don't think like what would have been doing that, jumping into those owlbears. That would have been that would have been your opportunity for that, right?
Yeah, I didn't want to do the neutral of just avoid detection because I'll always be doing that, and evil seems bad. But yeah,
okay, awesome. I'll take it for next time. Well, so for next time, I think just like I think maybe there wasn't a great opportunity this session, but I guess the owlbears would have been the only like real opportunity of like, okay, I'm just gonna
go for it.
No, what I would do next time, just because I wasn't really cognizant of that alignment statement, what I would do next time is like maybe ask me what in the scene might be something that might cause you to take an action like that, right? And then we'll flesh it out. I'll give you something. So
okay,
if you need that motivation anyway, I'll be more aware of it for next time. So let's talk about the general questions. Let's see. The general questions are: did we learn something new and important about the world? Yeah, I think so. I think we learned. I actually really quite enjoyed the whole like going through the giants battlefield. I thought that was really, and whether you guys learned anything or not, I don't know, but I thought it was an interesting exploration of the setting, and so you guys should take an XP for that. Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy? Yes. Kuroko, Keeper of the Azure Flame. So mark an XP for that. Did we loot a memorable treasure? Yes. Definitely the crystals.
I got rings.
The ring. You don't know what that does yet, if it does anything. And yeah, so everybody mark an XP for those final 3 questions. And that should put everybody like on the road to a good little ways toward advancement. Awesome. Okay, so that was a good first session. My intention for that session, like all first sessions, is to just let the characters stretch their legs a little bit, see what they're all about, get a sense of like how they approach problems, get a sense of how they interact with one another. And I think in that regards, I think it was a great success. I now have things I can take in between sessions to play with for my planning for session 2. All right. And it'll be fun to incorporate those things into this sort of like larger story arc that's going on here, that I think is going on here. Actually, I'm figuring it out myself. So does anybody have any questions or anything they want to discuss feedback-wise before we go?
No, Garrett, are you cool with like the kind of antagonistic thing that we have going on right now?
Oh, please! I wanted to ask the same to you. Like,
I'm all for it.
like
I
saying
like it.
competition against the 2 magic weavers.
Yeah. I thought Archon was really interesting because like I always understand my knowledge of the Scion goes back to like my understanding of them from like 2nd edition AD&D, right? Which is like they're more like mentalists or guru type characters, you know. And so it seems like you're playing it more almost like a druid almost, like it's more about like the spirits of nature that are informing me of these things. And so that's something that I was picking up on as we were playing, and then I'll have more I think to react to for next time. But it definitely was like playing with my expectations a little bit, which is not a bad thing, just something that I noticed.
I don't have that. Oh, I might be gone again. Can't hear me anyway. So
Oh, you went out.
Sometimes it's the advantage in terms of Dungeon World, and there is no psionics in the Dark Eye.
From Dark Eye, they don't have anything like that.
Yeah. But they are this mental control druids, and I drew from them. So
okay, I love it. Yeah. I think it's great. It's definitely like a different frame. I wasn't quite like ready for it, so it took me a bit to like. I was still kind of wrapping my hands around it by the end of the session. So, but I think it's super interesting. I like the way a lot of the characters are going. I think Weary's backstory is going to be super interesting to explore, and incorporating some of that stuff into the drama will be fun. Does anybody else have anything else they want to say, or any other like kind of points of feedback?
Yeah, I'll second the thing. I'm kind of playing him like a kind of a bad cop.
Yeah.
If I get pushed too far on that, just say, and I can dial that back. So
Well,
just,
and what I'll do, my way is to lean into you being a bad cop and try to set up something that like makes you feel like uncomfortable or guilty about being a bad cop, right? So
okay.
I'm happy to lean into that as the GM. But yeah, for sure. If I think of the other players, like
Yeah.
or you know, like if anytime if anybody's feeling like weary of someone's
Yeah,
someone's trope,
I don't want to be dismissive of people all the time, or that's not.
I quite love the scene between Weary being like, "Oh, sometimes we learn about our failures," da, 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 da. And then Travis just being like, "Oh yeah, like that time you got burned by the witch because you weren't paying attention."
Yeah.
I thought that was really good. I thought that was a really good player dynamic. Or
Yeah,
character
I liked all of that interaction. That was good. I liked when you were like, "No, we need to stop and make a plan," and I just kind of like, "Nope."
Yeah, I think it's good. I like the. I always have fun during this, like, sort of like I always call it the baby horse session because we don't know these characters and we're trying to like see them go. You know, see them like kind of. We kind of stumble around as player and GM until we kind of figure out what they're all about, right? But I like doing it in real time. So
let me say this. So I love fantasy, but I'm the guy who runs it. I almost never get to play fantasy.
Okay.
This is what I wanted. This is so what I wanted. It was
great. I'm glad.
So just
and the next sessions are going to be off the hook. I mean, like Fraser, and I know this because Fraser and David have played with me before, so they have a sense of this. But like, I have a lot of fun like taking my initial idea for the series and then melding it with what you guys have laid out on the table in the first session. And I personally strive for, as a GM, I strive for like a seamlessness there, right? Like to where you don't even notice like it. Like that's what my aim is. I hope that I think as a group we'll get to that place for next time too. So I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
But the basic sort of story setup I have is very much a like it's going to be kind of a weird like kind of village mystery thing. That's kind of like what I think it's angling toward, with like lots of different little things going on over here and over there, but like this sort of overarching thing that kind of hangs over it all. That's my hope. Scenic Dunsmith was a big inspiration for some of this. So.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited.
Cool. Well, it was great to play with you guys again. We're done for the session time-wise. I will see you all next week.